Good morning, everybody. I'm going to discuss today a recent blog post I did called Is Tommy Poppers Real? And I'm using my stage persona or online persona as a way to interrogate what we mean when we say the word real, or what reality is in terms of mesotopian theory and practice. So, blog post starts like this. Is Tommy Poppers real? Since 2010, I've been experimenting with how to be a writer on the internet. I've made blogs, stories, anonymous profiles, and strange hybrids that lived somewhere between art and autobiography. Some of these experiments worked. Others fell flat or disappeared into the algorithmic abyss. But across these 15 years of testing the limits of online identity, one question keeps returning to me. Is Tommy Poppers real? The short answer is yes and no, which I kind of like to play around with that when we're talking about what reality actually might be. This gets into some very heavy theory. It's sort of interrogating this materialist view of the world, which proposes that everything physical is real, etc. So again, I'm interrogating the idea of the physical and the symbolic through the creation of characters or personas such as Tommy Poppers. Okay, so let's get back to the blog. Tommy Poppers exists. He writes, he posts, he provokes. He's had conversations with real people. He's been misread, adored, and blocked. But he isn't real in the metaphysical sense. There is no withheld essence to Tommy Poppers that could exist independently of me. He's not sitting in some digital backroom waiting to log on. He's a performance, an appearance, a sensual object projected into a particular medium at a particular time. I'm just going to interrupt there just to say that that is a key thing to hang on to when you're trying to understand what I mean by the mesotopia. The mesotopia occurs within the present, and it's this interaction between the physical and the symbolic realms that occurs within the present moment. That's the moment of poesis that I work with, and that really is a testing ground for me to ascertain reality, or what is real as it is presented, or symbolic as it is represented. Okay, back to the blog. This troubles Graham Harman's notion that every object, whether material or immaterial, has an autonomous essence, something withdrawn beyond all relation. I simply don't see that in Tommy. He only flickers into being when someone reads, reacts, or misinterprets him. He's not withdrawn, but relational, not autonomous, but dependent. He depends on my creative act and the network that sustains him. When the internet is turned off forever, this version of Tommy vanishes into the ether. Perhaps a version of Tommy would continue to compose and sing to people in real life, but this would still be a projection of the real me. After a performance, the sailor hat would be returned to the box, and I would concern myself with other things. Just to expand on that then, so I keep returning to Graham Harman's metaphysics of weird realism in my thesis and my theory, because I think it actually demonstrates many of the things that I experience or encounter. Although I'm not completely committed to that. I have experimented with other theories of materiality. And what troubles me with Graham Harman's approach is this idea that, according to Graham Harman, Tommy Poppers would be as real as me speaking to you now. It has a withdrawn essence that no one can ever reach, etc. To a certain degree, I would say that's true. However, there is this element where it is, I would read it more in terms of Harman's work, that perhaps Tommy Poppers is just a sensual object, sensual qualities and a sensual object that appear in the present that people interact with. The actual withheld essence of Tommy Poppers would be me. Okay, back to the blog. What's more unsettling is how these digital experiments have rippled offline. Over the years, I've seen people respond to my avatars as if they were separate beings, proof perhaps that our culture has quietly accepted digital personas as real. Yet what these encounters reveal, to me at least, is that the internet exists, but it isn't real. It's a sensual distraction, an elaborate mirage designed to sustain the illusion of technocratic supremacy. It convinces us that the symbolic realm, the feeds, the data, the curated self, is somehow more meaningful than embodied life. To clarify, yes, Tommy Poppers exists. So does Anbarth Wills, and so, for that matter, do I, Trig. These are not characters in the fictional sense. They are working avatars, conceptual tools I use to explore difficult themes. Tommy helps me confront the performance of masculinity and the shadow of male violence. Anbarth Wills, the wild poet, emerges when I write through the lyrics' relationship to place about environmental decadence and grief. Both are masks, but masks that reveal as much as they conceal. I never post everything about where I am or who I'm with. That's deliberate. It's not secrecy, it's philosophy. The digital realm cannot contain the totality of human existence. It can gesture, distort, amplify, but it cannot hold. Offline, my life is grounded. I work with people I respect in situations that demand attentiveness and care. Those relationships are real. They're not content. I would never diminish them by performing them online. So, is Tommy Poppers real? He's as real as any reflection, as any poem, as any name you've ever written down and then outgrown. He is the shimmer of the self meeting its medium, a reminder that being online is not being alive. I would just like to add to that and expand on that really by just sort of saying performance artists have always done this. They use personas or characters to gesture towards something that's real through the mask or through the performance of something that is perhaps not. And I would like to suggest that this is pretty much what the majority of the internet, or particularly certain aspects, or how the internet is most widely used today. It's a performance. And I want us to hold that in our consciousness, because I see many people in academia and other subjects and other institutions of governance, etc., really pushing the idea that the future is that we all have to exist online. And I think that this is not sustainable and it's not real. The internet does not contain the complexity or the entirety of human experience. You know, I work on the cyomatics, which is this interplay between mind and body, and that's real. You know, we have a physical embodied presence, and to diminish that and to say that that isn't an important and intrinsic part of human being is not something that I can get on board with. I don't think that the future is online. I think that it will be turned off. I'm not particularly worried about it. You know, all you have to do is look at the people who are currently running or in control of aspects of the internet, be it social media, be it artificial quote-unquote intelligence. It is not artificial intelligence, by the way. It is super fast processing. There is a big difference, and I'll be doing blogs on that later on. But I don't see these people as anything else other than, you know, cultish doomsayers, you know, and they present themselves as being materialists or realists, and I don't think they are. You know, I don't think the future is online. You know, it can be switched off, and there is a real life that exceeds the bounds of this online technocratic prison we have been rapidly building all around us. Anyway, links below to the blog post, to my thesis, and to other relevant articles and blog posts that I've been working on. I am working on publishing academic papers and doing other types of writing, so keep open and keep looking at that. I suggest if you want to keep in touch with me and you don't want to use social media so much, you can add my blog posts to your RSS feed, so you get that sent to you directly from me and my website directly to you. So you don't have to rely on things like YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is that I've been posting to. As you can tell, I'm not very online. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you very much. As always, Miath Kar.